Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live action coming at you as tournament action. Nonetheless, beginning on GSL's Crossfire SE, we do have Best vs. IcePhyre. It is going to be a best of 3. We're in our monthly tournament for ALT-Starcraft, and it is so far gearing up to be one of the best tournaments we've had. We've got some phenomenal names signed up in here, and currently these two players, some of my favorite. We have seen Best play several times before. IcePhyre, a great friend and ally of ALT-Starcraft, but there is more to the story, ladies and gentlemen. We do have Alt Totoro on the line with us. Now let's check and see if he is there, or if he did go AFK. Totoro, are you there? No, he did. He went AFK. Figures. What can I say? I mean, this guy's like a slacker. But that's okay. He'll be back in just a moment. I think he did have to go sit down on a different computer, and just for a sec. Slacker. Yeah, he's a superhero though, so it's okay. He's listening to me, but he can't talk right now because he's talking to somebody else on a computer problem. That's okay. So let's check out our spawn positions here. Notice Best is our orange Protoss player up here in the top right-hand corner in the bottom left. We do have IcePhyre. He is going to be purple Zerg. Now it is game 1 here in this best of 3. And I do like Crossfire. I think this is a nice map. I understand what some people are saying about Terran able to abuse the terrain in this map. I think there are definitely some abuses for Terran on this map, but I think there's definitely some workarounds there that make it a fairly balanced 2-player map. It is a very long rush position, if you will, or walking distance to your opponent's base. It's a big map for a 2-player map, and I think it really works out well for some decent macro games, as well as some interesting play in the center of the map. So kind of fun. We do have some probe and drone scouts clapping hands here in the dead center of the map, heading towards their opponent's base. Notice IcePhyre did get his hatch first. Now let's take a look. Does not have his spawning pool down quite yet. What's that? What's happened?
I was saying the probe got blocked. I was going to ask you while I was listening to you as I was being a slacker. Is this a ladder map?
No, it is not. It's a tournament map. It's a Korean tournament map. So.
I was going to say this would be like a Zerg's worst nightmare map. Look at all the choke points.
Well, yeah, but there's so many runarounds too. Like, you don't have to have your entire army all in one spot. You can get flanks really easy as Zerg.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that too. What they do is they have their main army, like Roach Hydra or something, and then their Lings in a separate army, and they send them up a separate path, because essentially there's 2, almost 3 paths through the center of the map here. And so that way, if their opponent if they do engage in the center, that the Lings can go and get a flank very, very quickly. It's actually pretty cool. But
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, but if you see a lot of Korean players playing on this map, they're a lot more familiar with it than we are on the U.S. server, and they have some really neat things to do on this map. So it's kind of cool. But we did get this drone in the base here for IcePhyre. It looks like he is going to be cruising around, gathering up some intel. Does see that there are double gas down for Best, as well as a robotics facility of all things. Looks like we've got a Cybercore Chrono boosting out the Warp Gate tech as well. And IcePhyre now, he's got a Queen coming out at his natural. It is complete. No drone transfer. So what's your advice on that, Totoro? Do you like to see drone transfers here, or do you like to see people like saturate their naturals naturally as Zerg?
Wow, as Zerg?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. I would transfer. At least from a Protoss standpoint, I prefer to transfer probes, and then like midway, I'll transfer once, and then I'll start rattling them after that.
Right.
Because like I like to get about 24 ISK probes on my main, and then I'll just start hammering out the natural, because I want my main to last as long as possible in case I have to.
Right, have to fall back. Well, that's a great point. I tend to agree with you. But you do lose a little bit of mining time when you transfer, so it's kind of interesting to consider.
You know what it is? I honestly think it just depends on. Wow, mixing up. It comes down to player preference, I think, because like you lose that introductory loss in economics, but I mean if you pull your probes and your other probes have less where am I going to go mine from because there's open spots easier, and they won't travel a couple times to look for a spot. So
Right.
you could end up making your mineral line more efficient if you pull your probes, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really curious to see exactly what the difference is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do some math on it, but it's an interesting thing to consider. Warp Gate Tech is going to be complete here for Best. Notice that he's doing the same type of play that he did against his last Zerg opponent, with this what appears to be a big immortal push off one base. Notice he's got three more gateways going down, so 4 gates behind, and going to be able to warp in a lot of units for reinforcement. This is a big one base push. I think it's nice though, because Immortal's so good at taking out static defense and roaches are really IcePhyre at this point his best counter to this army early in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say about IcePhyre is maybe he watched the stream earlier, so he can expect this.
Yeah.
So, maybe he'll be ready. I'm sure, given his experience, I mean, I know Lonely would be ready, and IcePhyre is about on the same page as him, so I would expect him to be prepared.
Right.
Because this attack's not going to come out for another minute. Usually it's right around the 9-minute he starts sending them out, so...
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
the map control for IcePhyre is going to be helpful here though too. So
yeah, if I was him, and this is not talking from a Zerg experienced player, but I would try to I guess get him scared of attacking. Like maybe try to pick off some stuff with the Zerglings, because obviously different speeds on different units. Maybe he can pick off that probe that's coming to make a proxy pylon or something.
Right. Yeah, and I do like that Best is not sending his probe out first. Usually if that gets scouted, it's like, okay, well, he's going to be attacking soon. He's just setting up his proxy pylon. It gives your opponent more time to go ahead and get themselves prepared. Now, he did get his army split up here a little bit, and IcePhyre is taking advantage of that. He did rush out to the center of the map here to try and take down those stalkers early, but it looks... Oh, good force fielding here, going to stop the retreat of the roaches. Now, that's great play here from Best, but it is going to stall his advance up that ramp here for just a moment. But is Pylon going to be down in just a minute, too? So he probably will wait for a warp in here anyway, don't you think?
Yeah, and there's Hydralisk then, so he's going to... Well, I don't know if he has the income to get that, but... this might be a game. He might just want to spam Zerglings and hope he can just get us around, but...
Yeah, Zerglings is probably his best bet here. There's not tons of Zealots in this army, so... I mean, while Immortals are still a really beefy unit, that might be his best. Notice he did get the slight flank here, but there's Zealots at the flank, so these Zerglings not being super effective. Great force fields here, going to be stopping these roaches from attacking. I don't know, this does look like a game-ending type push here. Best really strong with this Immortal push.
Yeah, I think it's a great opener game strategy.
Yeah.
Because you know what it does for any future game is it totally puts the Zerg into a, wow, I can't macro. Like, I can't go quick base, I can't get a third base, I just can't macro against this guy because I'll get punished.
That is such a great point, and I think you're exactly right, and I think it did mess with his previous opponent's mind in that way, and it may do the same thing to IcePhyre here. We'll see if that's going to be the case, but he needs to get his entire army together. He did leave a couple Zealots down there. There they go. They're coming up now, as well as some more reinforcements. I just don't see anything you can do, and that's game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really curious to see what he tries to do against Best this second game, because Best, I probably won't use the same strategy,
Yeah, I agree. But phenomenal play there from Best in Game 1. It is a best of 3. Going to Game 2 here in just a moment, it will be IcePhyre's map pick. So thanks so much to Totoro. Thanks so much to these guys. Don't alt tab, ladies and gentlemen. Always alt StarCraft. We will see you guys in Game number 2.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Alt Totoro speaking on behalf of the one and only Knack. Bringing you Game 2, IcePhyre versus Best. He has been the best so far in his games. So go ahead, take it away, Knack.
I love it, man. I did shake my head when you said the one and only Knack, though. But thank you for that introduction. And getting into this best of 3 here in Game 2, man, I'm super excited to see if Best is going to be able to take it 2 games running here, or if IcePhyre is going to give him a run for his money and take it to Game 3. Now, that'll be interesting to see. But both guys spawning at the bottom side of the map here. IcePhyre is our purple Zerg in the bottom right. Best our orange Protoss in the bottom left. And I do want to mention real quick that Soul Split Kid, I have not forgot you. I will get you that stuff here. Oh, okay, yeah, the coaching, I remember that. Yeah, I'll get you the link here in just a little bit for your tournament. So bear with me. Let me go ahead and finish casting this, and we'll get that to you. But Totoro, you were saying earlier in that last game that that best, opens with, in a best of 3, opens with a particular strategy, a one-base push, a very big one-base push. He brought 4 Immortals, as well as 4 gates behind for warp-ins, and I mean, don't you think that he's going to switch up his strategy here?
Yeah, easily. He's probably, and I don't know, maybe he would on a different map because it's such a big map, so it's almost guaranteed he'll do something different.
Right,
but,
that's true.
He really could go 2 ways with this. He could go 1 gate expansion, get his core down just in case, a quick Zerg harassment, and then expand right afterwards and just 2-base him. But to be honest, Best obviously has a game plan for these games that I don't know, but it seems like he's already thought out, like, game 1 I'm going to do this attack, and game 2 maybe he's got 2 or 3 different strategies that he will go to if he needs to.
Right.
So yeah, I'm curious to know. See, I don't know, because the second game last time didn't last very long because he just got Balined,
Yeah, that's true. It was kind of a different one, wasn't it? But IcePhyre did take his expansion first before spawning pool. So hatch first, kind of interesting strategy here. Now, it's probably good on such a big map here. But, whoa, somebody's trying to break into my room. Sounds like my daughter. But the Cyber Core did go down. I love the positioning of these buildings here for Best. This is a great wall off. Very, very easy to defend in this position here. But he did go for a Forge Fast Expand, so I'm wondering if he may even go for another 1-base play here. It does look like it, because look, he just tossed down his Robo. This looks like the exact same build.
Maybe he's just more confident.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he just thought that his attack was so strong. Why not? Especially, I mean, theoretically speaking, he's kind of close position. I mean, he's not close position, but he's certainly closer than cross position,
That's true. Yeah, I mean, he still has to walk all the way around that thing, but I mean, the nice thing is for Protoss is warp-ins with forward pylons and such just changes the game in that sense. I mean, you really can, if with good planning, you can turn any map into a close position type of rush. You know what I mean? It just takes good planning.
Now the real question will be, will IcePhyre kind of see what's going on? I mean, he saw the Robo Bay going down. He sees he's only got 1 gate. He's got to assume this is 1-base play.
Right.
How's he going to react, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Notice that he did scout in the incorrect direction with that Overlord, so he doesn't have any Overlords in position right now to get in for some scouting before the 9-minute mark. So I think he really ought to consider sending an Overlord over there right away, just to gather a little bit of extra intel. Because if he doesn't catch these Immortals, and notice that Best is keeping them behind his wall, out of sight, so just by moving a Zergling into position there isn't going to scout those Immortals. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is really, really nice play from Best. It's really, really smart. It makes it difficult to counter that. Forces his opponent to have to really get in there with an Overlord, which is essentially going to cost him 100 minerals there, because obviously Best not going to let that guy come in for free. You know what I mean?
Well, it's almost guaranteed that he's going to 1-base play, because just like a 4-gate where, you have your timing push, you stop pro production. A 1-base play, it's the exact same thing, except you just stop your pro production later.
That's true. Well, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
He's sitting there on fully saturated 1-base play. He's not building any more probes. He doesn't need to. And, if I'm surprised he's not sending an Overlord over. Well, he is now. But if he saw this going on right now, it'd almost be a guaranteed 100%, hey, I'm 1-basing,
Right. That's true. I would like to see IcePhyre at least scouting the natural here to see whether or not he's taken his natural, because that's like you say, is another good telltale sign. But we see IcePhyre playing essentially blind at this point. He doesn't have that Xel'Naga tower between the bases, which he needs to have with at least 1 Zergling at this point. But he's going to be cruising out here with quite a few Zerglings. I'm wondering if he is going to try and put some pressure on here.
Oh man, this is actually kind of smart what he's doing. You notice he's gonna put the spire down, so he understands the 9 minute mark. He's probably gonna push out. The best is going to push out. So
Uh-huh.
what he can do to slow that down is muta harass.
Yeah.
He's gonna go robo, so he's obviously not gonna have blink stock or that many stalkers in general.
Right.
So he could really do a lot of damage to this mineral line. Maybe even take out that pylon to get rid of 2 gates.
Right. And the AA in this army is actually almost nil. He's only got 5 sentries in this army, and here, I mean, he's scouting it right now. Look at that. He is going to take out a couple of these units because of Best's movement there. He split his army just a little bit, so IcePhyre picking up a few free kills.
He's
And
gonna
now
get that proxy probe
Yep.
too.
Oh, this is bad news for Best. You've got to always use a move across the map like that and try and keep your units together. And it looks like Best may lag out of this game here.
Wow. In this situation, wouldn't it be IcePhyre's advantage?
Yeah, I mean, it's close, but I mean, I can't see what he's got in his main right now, obviously, but I do see that he's got Muta's on the way. Muta's going to be able to counter very, very well what's going on here.
This is why I think IcePhyre would win this encounter. One, he took
Oh,
out the
don't
proxy
say
probe.
though. You shouldn't type stuff like that to IcePhyre.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, but
Wow, my bad.
that's okay.
I figured he saw his army. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
But what I'll just talk to you that I was thinking. Yeah, he's got mutas, and if he had the proxy pylon being able to be put out, I can imagine him warping in stalkers. But he doesn't. He doesn't have the proxy probe anymore.
Right.
So I mean, I would figure those immortals would be wiped out. He's one basing, and it would just be so slow of a recovery. So.
Yeah, I agree. Plus it's so far into the game that, I mean, we can't really. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now. It is going to be on MLG's Zelnaga Caverns Best vs. IcePhyre Game 3 of a best of 3 in our monthly tournament. We do have $110 worth of prize pool on the line. These guys absolutely are shooting for that. But we do have Alt Totoro on the line with us. How you doing, Totoro?
I'm doing good.
We're going to be having a good old-fashioned time here, huh?
Yes. There can only be one after this game.
That is for sure. I love game 3 out of 3 or 5 out of 5. Always the last game makes me super happy because the pressure's on both players. They've only got one shot to make it happen at that point, and have already done a lot of work, so they don't want that work to go to waste. So, it seems like that last game they've always got their best of the best coming at their opponent.
I wouldn't be surprised though, honestly, if Best didn't do the same strategy one more time.
Yeah, and on this map, it's a pretty hardcore strategy, especially because this natural, so easy to take down in the early game for of a Zerg player, and I mean it could be a devastating play, I think, from Best.
Oh, no question at all. I'm almost certain he'll do it. I mean, why not? Like as you just mentioned on this map, it's such an easy map to do it on.
Yeah, I mean you can get a full-on surround on their natural essentially, and no matter how much static defense they put up, you're gonna have a really good time blasting it away with your immortals. So yeah, I know. I would guess that it's not a bad play at this point. We've got Ice Cold out there, says that he thinks that he's gonna go one base. Soul Split Kid says, oh, he wants to see Alt versus Devil Dog. Okay, so to recast. Yeah, that's fine.
See who?
He wants to see who would play Devil Dog. I can't remember.
He wants to see Ice play Devil Dog.
I want to see Alt versus Devil Dog if he does a recast game. Ice, yes, that's right. Yeah, IcePhyre. Yeah, we can see that. I'm surprised that's what you guys want to see. I mean, we did miss a lot of like RSVP games and Rev Kefka games, which are GMs, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that. We'll do that first. Yeah, Ice Cold's like, I want to see anything with RSVP. There we go. That's what I was half expecting, but I'm down for whatever. So, but we do have good scouting here from Best. He did get this probe into his opponent's base, which is not hard. It is difficult for Zerg players to wall off. Oh, speaking of which, did you see that Honey Bear game?
No.
Oh my goodness, he walls off all the time, man. It's crazy train. He's a Zerg player, and he walls off with his spine crawlers non-stop, dude. It's crazy. I love it.
Korean player?
I don't think so. I think he's an American player. But we do have an early Roach Warren here from IcePhyre. It's not super early, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not what you would assume for two-base play. It's before two-base play.
Way early. I would even dare say this could be a Roach Rush. 7-minute Roach Rush? Or...
Yeah. Yeah, and then try and stream. I think he's getting that second hatchery so that he can stream Zerglings across the map. I think what his goal, and notice that he does have a proxy hatch in the back of his opponent's base here, so. And he did cancel his expansion.
Wow, Best isn't going to see this either.
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
He does have his robo down, so we are going to see some. Oh my goodness, he's scouting it.
Wow.
He did scout it. Now that's not going to matter here. The trouble is, I don't think IcePhyre placed this correctly. I think it's tight in the back, and so anything that he spawns is going to appear in that little kind of corner or whatever down to the south side of it, you know, and is going to ruin essentially everything that's going on. I mean, they won't be able to get out. They'll be stuck in there. Do you see what I'm saying?
But here's something that's important to recognize. He's about to have his sentry out of position.
Yeah.
And he could easily take out... Oh, there's a cannon, but... Oh, wow. Nah, he might be good on this.
Yeah, I don't know. This does look like a good defense here from Best. It's going to be tough to break at this point. I think IcePhyre's really... He can't overcommit here. He's got to keep these units alive and back out here.
Yeah, I agree. Here he's got a roach that's about to pop in his main, but I think he's gonna have it walled off.
I think so too. I think that was the improper placement there. I think he needed to put it up just one mark, and yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make the same mistake with 2 roaches. Wow.
Yep.
He's gonna make it with 3. Wow.
Oh no! There it is. He's not happy with himself right now. Oh, this is really, really difficult for him. Yeah. I mean, what can you do?
Pull out. Get out while you can.
Yeah, get out while you can. I think it's go time. I think IcePhyre's got to move into position right now and try and take it down. I mean, this is too much of an investment that's completely gone to waste. I mean, Best can take it down with taking 0 losses at this point. And there's really nothing that he can do about it. Look at that. These Immortals outrange everything that's back there.
That's funny. Well,
Yeah.
that's what you get, I guess, when you try to cheese.
I guess.
Because it can come back and stink, you know? It's just... It's one of those things. You should always... If you're a better player, you shouldn't have to cheese, you know?
Yeah.
And IcePhyre is definitely a good player. I don't see any reason why he would feel uncomfortable in not just playing a straight-up game.
No, I agree. And, I mean, now he's way late, though, on his hatchery, so he's, definitely behind. Units tab shows that he's still at 14 drones, which is absolutely killing him at this point. Best at 22, gearing up to have an extremely large army here. This push should go very, very well for Best at this point. And, I think it's going to be game, to be honest. I just don't see how IcePhyre can hold this off. I mean, he's massing up a decent amount of units here, but even if he does hold this off, his economy is going to be in such a terrible position that I mean, the 2-base play here from Best is just going to be an enormous, block.
Well, no question. Look at the probes, 23-17 right now, and that's with him building. Obviously building drones to get it back up, but still 24-19. I mean, he's so far behind, and as a Zerg player, that's death basically.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean he's gonna try hard here. He does have his spawning pool working on some metabolic speed boost. I think he needs this for map control. I do like that he's taking the towers here. Needs to know what's going on. He probably should go ahead and scout that his opponent is taking a nexus. But, I mean, he's got to get aggressive here economically. He has to take a risk and go ahead and macro up here his economy to try and come back in that way. So, I mean, let's check the units tab. He's doing a great job. He just now surpassed Best. So, actually, interestingly enough, Best hasn't been producing probes. He just now started producing probes.
Yeah, well, and that all goes down to he's one basing, and then he decided, oh, well, I'm not going to one base.
Right.
He's just going to two base Colossus. He'll probably attack. Yeah, well, I mean, if I was him, I'd probably attack as soon as that Colossus popped, but
Yeah.
he'll probably get one more Colossus, if that, and just push. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's already 1-1. What is I don't even think he has any upgrades.
He doesn't. I mean, what can you do? I mean, he was really pushing it there with that hatchery in the back, and it backfired. So, I mean, it's just one of those no fun situations that there's just not much that can be done.
Yeah, he's scouting. Best is scouting this army right now, and it is not even the least bit scary. This should be game. There's a proxy going down. As soon as he gets his army in position, I can't see how he's going to win this.
Right. Now, IcePhyre looking to move forward here, going to try and engage as soon as possible, which I kind of disagree with. I think he was just waiting to see if Best would split his army there, let his stalkers get ahead of him, but he did not, however, and it looks like it is going to be a counter-attack from IcePhyre. So going to go in and try and obliterate his opponent's main, maybe? I don't know. He's going to try and counter it, but it is a base race scenario here at this point. But, I mean, base racing, oh, look at this. Best backing out here. Now, I disagree. I think a base race is probably best for best, if that's even a sentence.
Yeah. Oh, well, no question. It's easily a better situation.
Yeah, because, I mean, Best can sit here and defend his main. I would go ahead and sack my natural to allow the chance for me to take out his entire main and natural at the same time. But he did back out. He does have a lot of lings here in the base, but not enough, I don't think, to be able to obliterate this army. Look at that, and he's attacking a photon cannon, which is, I would say, less than effective at this point.
I agree.
Now,
I mean,
the only thing I can say, that even though this is a mistake for Best, this does buy IcePhyre the time that he needs to come back in this matchup.
I agree.
So, yes, it's a mistake for Best, but let's check the units tab.
And he's supply blocked.
Yeah, Best supply blocked, behind economically, having to remake pylons here down on the low ground. And his unit producing capability is a little bit low at this point. He's only got those 3 up in his main, the 3 warp gates, as well as the 1 robo. Looks like he is going to be going for a Twilight Council as well, and just now getting out his Thermal Lance upgrade. So I think IcePhyre, if he plays his card correctly here, it has evened it out at this point and should be able to potentially come back, but he's really going to have to do a lot of work still, because the tech pattern for Best is what is really, really nice at this point.
I would say that he may have bought himself a minute, and it's pretty much how he's going to use that minute.
Yeah.
He's going to get his third, so cool. He's going to have the extra economy, the extra ability to make units. But, I mean, if he's going to think that sticking on Roach play all day is going to help him, then he's kind of mistaken. He needs to probably maybe Baleen bust, or get enough Baleens and get all of his... at least this is what Lonely does. You know, get all of your Overlords together, grouped up. You got like 50 of them. Maybe 10 of them have all maxed out Baleens.
Yeah,
and
check out these Banelings going into the mineral line.
Oh, sneaky, sneaky.
Kaboom. Nice. A little bit of damage there. Not bad.
Yeah, that's what he needs. He needs a bunch of harassment, and then just use Baleens as... I mean, as funny as it sounds, use Baleens as static defense, and...
Right. Yeah, he's got to try and keep Best. The last thing he wants to do, though, is force an all-in from Best, because, like I say, the tech pattern here from Best is very, very strong. And, I mean, this army from Best is actually, I think, still too big for him to hold off.
It is, right now. That's what I'm saying. But you'll notice that the composition is pretty much for a land army situation. So,
That's
I
true.
mean, if he can get either, in my opinion, Baleens are the perfect Baleen drop on an actual army. If he could do that to Best, then he would get demolished.
Yeah, now he is moving out here. This could spell disaster for IcePhyre. He's really going to have to commit a lot of resources right now to his Roach army. He's going to need a heck of a lot of Roaches. Notice that he is getting some Banelings into his army there, which is, I think you're right, this is his last-ditch effort. Now, I do like that he got these Corruptors in the army, too, but look at this. He's drawn his opponent away from his natural there. I love this play. He buys himself extra time by moving these units around and trying to flank his opponent and such. Look at that, he's moving in for a counterattack. Unbelievable.
Oh man, those corruptors are off, out of position there.
Yeah, they are definitely out of position, but here comes the base trade again. Roach is cruising up here, but look at this. So much damage being dealt by Best. I disagree with this counterattack from IcePhyre this time. I think he should have engaged here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised if he'll even do that much.
Yeah, I mean, this is a decent amount of roaches, but for,
Look
like you
at
say,
this.
5 minutes ago in the game.
Going back again.
Yeah, I really disagree with that, too. I mean, I think Best has got this in the bag. There's no reason to not push this. There he goes. He's turning back around. There, he's going to go back in and attack. I think that's the right deal here. Go ahead and take out all the tech structures here for IcePhyre. I mean, he can defend his main at this point. There's no reason to not be doing the damage that army can dish out in a very, very short period of time.
No question. This is definitely a GG.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. This army just wailing away up here. IcePhyre did back out here with those roaches. Nope, now he's back going in, seeing. And this is that tough situation where it's like there's not much that IcePhyre can do now. What a great player, though, in IcePhyre, and I mean, sad that we won't be seeing him in the rest of the tournament, but congratulations to Best. I mean, this is definitely a GG scenario. We're waiting for just a one last ditch effort here from Best. He's going to try and base trade this as quickly as possible, but Best does know where his opponent is at his third, and going to be taking that down here very quickly. He's got all sorts of units cruising in that direction. Roach is here trying to intercept, but there's just not much that can be done.
Man, you could really learn a lot from Best, though. It's at least from low B Protoss players. That was a very good strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have won a lot earlier if he didn't go back for that and just did a base trade straight up. But I mean, very nice play.
Yeah, I mean, good unit composition, and I think he really did a nice job holding that off. Even though IcePhyre did make a mistake on that building placement in that that proxy hatch. Still a good job there from Best. He was methodical about it, didn't overreact, like pull probes and try and kill it or something like that. So, I mean, all in all, really nice stuff. And there's only one building left. It is an extractor here for IcePhyre. He is trying to base trade this as quickly as he can. Notice that extractor here. But the entire army of Best is headed in that direction. So I hope that Best not going to try and engage the army, just going to go ahead and engage the extractor.
Of course not.
There he goes. He's going to kill it. There's the GG from IcePhyre. Beautiful game. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Congrats to Best. Thanks to Totoro for coming out and casting with me. Don't alt-tab. Always alt-Starcraft. We'll see you guys in our next matchup.